Here we go, Barflies. Welcome to the Barfly Tailgate Show. You already know it's live. It's done by Barflies, for Barflies, and all the other Bears fans out there. Welcome back, boys. Nice little break. Just kick back and chill and, and whatever. Just talk a lot of shit to each other and give a little break from this thing. We're here to talk about the draft. We're going to throw some shit against the wall, see what sticks, and get the updates and everything going on. Let's start this thing off with Mr. Ryan Badgley. Badge of Honor. Badge, what's up, dude?
Yo, Bobby Bombs, AC, Big Mike, everybody in the house, KB, prepping to jump in here soon. Man, it was nice, fellas, to, we started training camp last season, went all the way through the Super Bowl, did a couple extra weeks.
Yeah,
it was nice to have a little breather there, but now it's ramping up. It's draft time. Excited to talk about our mocks. And, just kick it with you guys. It's been a little bit, I know we chatted through text and whatnot a little bit here and there, but, man, it's great to be back and, decked out in some new barroom swag, baby. Check out that swag shop. I mean, what can't you get in this swag shop? Our man, Mike, putting it all together. Damn, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
We got Speedos. Speedos are lined up next. So, Badge, I know you're looking forward to the summer. I got you covered,
I might need two sewn together to fucking get in it, dude.
a nice little banana hammock. Next, we got Mr. Mike Schaefer. Mike, what's up, man?
New office. Who dis?
There you go.
On a new location today. Spending a little time at the actual work office today, but boy, have I missed you guys. It's been pretty boring these last few Sundays, just thinking about the draft. So excited to be back with y'all and weather warming up as we get closer to draft day. I know we got a lot of topics to cover today. Excited to be here, boys.
Absolutely, man. 4,000 Clovers just said we should open the show with the boys are back in town. I think we actually did that a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I think we actually used that a few times, but then there's all this copyright shit, Clovers, and then half the show gets muted because people, whatever, get all angry and shit. Last but not least, we got the bearded Bears fan, Mr. Aaron Current. What's up, dude?
What it do, baby? Good to be back. The weather's starting to turn. I'll give y'all a little Kentucky update.
Get it.
Nice and warm, but the allergies are kicking my ass. I'll be cutting grass after the show today. Try to set up a little something behind me. I got my Kentucky season tickets, so that's what I'll be doing this Saturday in the fall, and then Sunday, of course, to be with you fellas. I'm pumped. It feels like Christmas coming around. I love draft season.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, hopefully we can get everybody back in the stadiums this year. I mean, at least, some sort of attendance
Right.
and get things going. But I have a feeling, it's gonna pick up for sure, man. I wonder how many of these, now that you said it, I know it's totally off of anything, but I wonder how many season ticket holders have given up their season tickets or their spots because of either the fear of COVID or not wanting to whatever. So now might be the time to get your name on the list, because who knows how quick that thing is going.
All right.
I think,
go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens if they open this thing up. There are people that are going to be a little bit leery, but there's also going to be a lot of people that hadn't had access to tickets in the past that now do. So, like with baseball right now, you see price for Cubs tickets is like insane. $200 just to get in a building in some cases for certain games. So it's this weird dynamic. It's all going to come down to how many people do they let back into the stadium. But yeah, if you're not on the list today, you should be on the list, because you just never know. Something can happen. You get in there. It is my most prized possession, the season tickets. And my dad and I actually share it. So it's a PSL. So we have the rights to the tickets, and he always fucks with me every year and says, "Hey, I'm throwing I saw they're going for like 20 grand. I'm putting them up." And I'm like, "Hell no, there's no price. There is no price that we will put on those PSLs. So, hey, if you, like I said, if you're not on the list, get on that list today.
If they get on the list, they can hang out in South Lot with you, bro.
Amen. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm down the days. I'd rather be tailgating.
Yeah.
I am tailgating. I'm Barfly tailgating, but
Yeah. All right, well, let's kick this thing off, man. Let's start off with before we get into mocks. Let's start off with the CP. I almost said CP3 because of all the basketball gambling I've been doing. Let's start off with Cordarrelle Patterson. Whoa. First, we got Mr. Ryan KB. Old Kirkland Billings popping in. What's up, man?
What's going on, fellas, man? Having computer issues, man. That's what happens when you don't start your stuff up for like a month. It's like going through a million restarts. I'm like, bro, what's going on? So on the phone, man, got to do it this way.
That's all right, man. Sounds good. We're going to kick this thing off, man. We're getting started already. So let's throw in a little Cordarrelle Patterson. Badge, I'm going to start this thing off with you, man. The Bears have come out and said that they're not going to re-sign him. They're going to basically let him walk. He said, I'm going to miss all my guys in Chicago or something like that. He put out on Twitter. What's your thoughts on CP no longer in the building?
Let me get my comment thread up here because I'm probably going to get fucking ethered. I love Cordarrelle Patterson. He's a rah-rah guy. He is a, hype up guy. He's a recruiter. But outside of that, what the fuck did he do here? In all honesty, I mean, he returned one, maybe two kickoffs for a touchdown. He played running back when our offensive line was in shambles. He is a gimmick guy, which is what, when he first came here, everybody thought teams weren't caught off guard by him in the shitty offense that this Matt Nagy continues to put out every season. So to me, it's not a huge loss, in my eyes. I think, I like Cordarrelle Patterson, but as far as his time here in Chicago, there wasn't enough. He just didn't do enough for me to warrant him coming back here. Did I want him back here? Absolutely. Just because of the type of person that he is. He was great in the return game. Also as a gunner, I thought he was fantastic. But you can find those guys in other places for much less money than what he was coveting. So, CP, appreciate everything here, man. Like, awesome, but I'm totally okay with moving on from him.
Yeah,
I am too.
Good.
I was just gonna say I'm not gonna go quite as bold as Badge with the take, but just a few weeks ago, I mean, I said it. I think a guy like CP, I almost did the same thing as you, Bob. A guy like CP, it's a luxury addition in this team with the cap situation that we're in right now. We don't have the ability to pay top dollar for a return specialist.
Yeah.
He was, though, Badge, at times last season, he was our MVP. I mean, there were games. I mean, if he returns a kickoff for a touchdown, like there were a couple games where that could be a make or break. I think there's 3 or 4 games probably throughout the season that he can win for you. So, and it's not saying much for the team around him to say that the kick returner is your MVP, but at times I think he was. But again, was he going to take $3 million for 1 year to stay? Probably not. I mean, the Bears were going to have to pay more to keep him. I don't think you give a guy like that a pay cut. So Atlanta gets a bargain for him. But I'm with you, man. I mean, I said it a few weeks ago as an unpopular opinion that, hey, you gotta make some sacrifices to bring in players and to pay other players. And I thought he was one where we'd have to make it. I love the guy, and he was, like I said, at times the MVP. But I'm good with it.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, and I think there was times where he was the guy that was getting the ball downfield. Like when we seemed to kind of go to him at certain times, he was like the only one producing. But just the consistency, and whether or not it's CP, it might be more Nagy. It's the consistency of what he was used and what he was asked to do. Like some days he's asked to be a running back, other days he's asked to fucking like he lined up at tight end last year. And then like wide receiver, running back, like. When you like, what is it? Jack of all trades, master of none. Like when you try to put this dude, whatever, I think that like it was great to have him. I think his energy, like Badge is saying, is great. I love the how about them Bears after the wins. You know, that was like I won't say it took Club Dub's place this year, but it was a perfect kind of after game piece that everybody was waiting for, you know. And I mean, you even see millions of people come out and mock the video and start doing it the same. So yeah, he was a good spot, but I don't know. I think he would have demanded more here. And this isn't a place right now. The Bears organization, although yeah, they've done playoffs 2 out of the last 3 years, but this isn't an organization that you could be like, we're on the cusp. Like, can you like, we want you to re-sign for this much, and we're going, like, we're on the cusp. So he just, you know, he bounces out and goes where the money's going to be.
Yeah.
Don't blame
I thought the 1 year, $3 million looked bad on us. If he would have took that here in any other year other than this one, I would pay it in a heartbeat for the best kick returner in the league. Let's not beat around the bush on that. There's the things that he can do, and again, you guys touched on it with maybe it's him, maybe it's Nagy. The things that this guy can do, you can move him around your formation and your offense. That helps out your depth chart. You don't have to pay as many people.
That's
but we beefed up.
That's one of the biggest bonuses about CP, though, because like no matter who gets hurt on the offense, outside of the offensive lineman, right? No matter who gets hurt, you have a guy. Like I have a guy who can play running back. I have a guy who can play wide receiver. You know, I have a guy who's lined up at tight end. You know, not that he's going to be there totally, right? But you have a guy who kind of fits in everywhere. For $3 million, is it worth it? Probably, but I honestly don't think that that's what he was.
But this is a guy, too, guys, who is taking carries away from David Montgomery, your number one running back, who's breaking off, you know, a 12, 14-yard gain and then being fucking substituted for Cordarrelle Patterson to come in and play running back. And I get it. Tariq Cohen, that, you know, I totally understand it. But this is also a guy who he's not a full-time wide receiver because he can't run the fucking route tree.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean,
he's good in certain things. There's reasons why it took this long for him to get signed.
But do you really think that CP out of the building changes the way that Nagy pulls Montgomery out of the game?
No,
it's just going to be. Yeah, that shit's still going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now it's going to be Artavius Pierce or Nall or you know, whoever else.
And I think in today's NFL, you have to have that running back by committee. The only place that I can think of right off the top of my head that goes with just one running back and always one running back is like the Titans with Derrick Henry and maybe Kamara in New Orleans. But other than that,
I don't know, Jerome. Nagy can fucking screw anything up. He could screw up wiping his ass.
I know. That's what I said. I said Munoz. I said Munoz just spoke too soon. There's gonna be somebody in there that's ready to that he's gonna mess this up with, man, for sure. All right, so I think the grand thing is like, yeah, everybody kind of liked him. We liked him here, but nobody's like totally distraught and upset that CP's gone, right?
Not on this panel, anyway. If we want to invite some folks from Twitter on, I'm sure they'd fucking.
I wouldn't know.
Some people act like we lost Allen Robinson. We didn't, you know what I mean? We didn't lose our number one. We lost a gimmick guy who helps out your offense and does extra stuff. Like I said, my biggest issue is that he went to Atlanta, who, in my opinion, is a worse team. And the draft position tells you that. And he took $3 million to go there. And we have to replace a gunner. I think Cohen can come in as a kick returner, or there's a guy in the draft that I like that's kind of a late round pick we might be able to grab.
Another Kentucky kid, huh?
No.
Oh, not a Kentucky guy?
Jalen Darden is a guy that I like a lot. He is a kick return, punt return, slot receiver guy that we might be able to grab with one of those 4 or 6 round picks.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to the other one. I haven't seen anything on it lately, but then again, I I mean, for those of you, I just haven't really been on Twitter. I took a break from all the fucking toxicity, man, and I just I mean, when you read a Twitter post and you get pissed off for like more than fucking 5 minutes, I think it's time to like put that thing down. You know what I'm saying? And I was getting angry with people and shit, man. I don't even know, just from reading, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like, let me chill out for a minute. There was a lot
went out to the mountains. He learned how to build a fire.
Sabbatical. All right, the other thing that we've seen before, and I haven't really heard anything on it lately. Maybe you guys could correct me if I'm wrong, but the whole Miller. The rumors of Miller on the trade block, Bears shopping him, trying to get, whatever for him. Thoughts on Anthony Miller and the possibility that he is on the trade block, and what do you value his trade position? Let's start with Mr. Ryan Kirkland Billings.
Man, from everything that I done read and what I believe, I feel like he might value at a 5th round pick if we do end up trading him, which I do believe he's really on the trade block. I mean, we said that as soon as he was thrown out the playoff game. Yeah. He was gone. But you know what I'm saying? A lot of the rumors are saying that there are a lot of teams that are coveting him, which is shocking. But when you look at it, if he's put in the right system, somebody gets his head on straight, you get a hell of a slot guy. We've always said Anthony Miller's had talent. He's had the talent to be a number 2. Shit, he could be a mini Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
In all aspects. So I'm feeling
he's got the attitude.
Let's hope he's not that crazy. But man, you got to look at that, man. Hopefully he lands on his feet. He seemed like he was a good kid, man. And sometimes it's like you said, you need to change the scenery. And being here, we don't develop people, so I mean, it is what it is. Trade him to a team like the Patriots, who might covet somebody for a slot position, or maybe Tampa Bay. No,
that's a great point, KB. You just hit the nail on the head with guys come here. We don't develop anybody.
We don't develop anybody, man.
We've drafted in, I don't know, the history of the organization that's fucking amounted to shit. And right now, it's even worse. Yeah. It's even worse. Yeah. You've got guys that they've spent draft picks on, and they traded up for Anthony Miller, and he ain't done shit but punch a guy in the fucking face in a playoff game.
Well, I mean, he started out great his rookie year.
Started out
great.
The trade up looked like it paid off at that point, but
Yeah. Javon Wims, Riley Ridley. What's the problem in the wide receiver room? Is it the players? Is it the coaches? Like that's this organization in a fucking nutshell. Yeah. And I'm sorry to get I haven't talked Bears in weeks, and I apologize, but until these fucking morons in the organization recognize that Matt Nagy isn't going to change this offense, his coaching staff isn't going to change shit, because look at the last 3 years. Who's gotten better?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my gut feel
hasn't done it themselves.
Yeah.
I was going to say David Montgomery.
Yeah, that's the one player.
Look at Mooney, though, right? Like, my gut is that this is a character thing. It's what are they doing when they're not at Hallis Hall, when they're not practicing? Darnell Mooney, and granted, it's one video, it's one little clip on Twitter, but the guy's catching balls off a jugs machine in a hallway of a hotel. And Anthony Miller,
he bought that jugs machine.
That was his first purchase when he got signed, yeah.
So, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. And his performance, it correlates, right? It's parallel. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You hear a lot of negative stuff about Miller. He's involved in a lot of negative stuff on Twitter. And again, I get it. It's Twitter, and, it doesn't mean everything. But for me, guys like, he's punching people on the field. Wims is punching people on the field. There's rumors that Ridley's kind of hanging out with those dudes, and maybe that explains why he's not on the field. Part ways with Miller, right? Get whatever we can get. Let's try to draft somebody that fits that mold. I think everywhere I'm hearing and listening, it sounds like wide receiver is a very high priority. Get somebody to replace him that can play that slot. That could be, the guy you can count on, and let's just rip the Band-Aid off and get rid of him.
I was going to say, even if you look at it now, even if you look at it now, we already signed somebody that you can typically say might replace Miller in Goodwin.
Yep.
Yeah,
he'll be
if he could stay on the field,
and curls and fucking deep outs towards the sideline.
Yeah,
he'll be great for it.
Yeah, it's also It's also good for the medical staff to
Stay busy.
to keep their job fucking going. I don't wish nothing bad on the dude.
3-14, guys. I'm fucking sticking with it.
No, I told you this is.
I'm tired, man.
Old Andy's going above 500. This dude's gonna come in and be
8-8-1, baby. Let's go.
8-8-1. I don't know. I mean, I guess. Well, before we run into the mocks, let me kick this thing over to Badge because I know. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole too much, but we're gonna go into mocks here in a little bit. But before we do that, let's introduce this week's Mr. Badge of Honor, from a very special member of the bar room. So, Badge, go ahead, take it away, brother.
Yeah, man. There he is, right there, my guy, man. We told you guys when we had him on the first time that he would be back on to talk about I do the Badge of Honor, man, but this guy lives it. Like every day he's doing something in his community, giving back. And what he just did, going over to another country, following his father's footsteps and making an impact there. Not even here in this. This guy, man, Tyler Ellis, the Gaines Report, man. Welcome back to the Barfly Tailgate Show. Congratulations on your Badge of Honor, brother. It's such an honor and a blessing to have you on here with us, man, to hear all about your experience following in your dad's footsteps, man.
I knew you were going to make me cry. That's why I have my glasses on. I was like, yeah, we talking beers. I'm like, yeah, we talking beers. I'm like, bet, I'm ready. Then I'm like, oh no, keep the glasses on. Badge is gonna do it to you. First of all glory and praise to my heavenly Father, Jesus Christ. I can't even skip that. That is first and foremost. But the Badge of Honor. First of all, Barfly Tailgate Show, Bobby. It's just
hey.
Bobby, AC, KB. My man Mike, man, how y'all doing? Badge, you had me fired up, bro. You was talking.
Sorry, man. It's been a while.
But so much to talk about. We get to Bears later, but I'm very, 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 very blessed to have seen an example of servitude from my father and from my mom, Trudy Jones, Amos Ellis. I grew up, Badge, watching my parents serve. My father was the co-founder of the Mombasa Kenya Relief Initiative, and they've been going over to Africa for the last 20 plus years, pouring into the community. First, they used to bring back merchandise and help them with commerce and everything. When the government isn't really playing fair ball, my dad and his best friends that I really got the privilege to hang out with, my dad's best friends, which is another story. And together, it was just really awesome to see what they were already doing. And so I won't take any credit. I'm very, very grateful to have been a blessing, Badge, and to be able to be there. But from my dad, Amos Ellis, what he's left behind for myself, my brother Josh, my brother Jordan, my sister Jasmine, and my mom. We've helped sponsor children over there. They were taking electricity, water, healthcare supplies to schools over there. This was so much bigger than a trip, if you will. Honestly, guys, I will be going over there for the rest of my life. And so I don't want to go down any rabbit hole, Badge. I kind of just want to listen to what you were. Oh man, you're gonna make me cry now. How did you find this footage?
How do we find it, bro? You had it posted all over Instagram. I was following.
Okay. And so and I think at this moment right here, we were talking about free agency was starting up, and people were talking about these millions of dollars being spent. And I'm literally at this school. Those kids sitting right there, that's a classroom, because the school is so overpopulated, and it's actually kind of sad because it was supposed to be a government funded school. And so like these kids, when I walk into a classroom, Bobby, to see a fourth grader hungry, to see a third grader hungry with their head on the tables is trying to be like, and then they walk a couple miles to get to the school. And some kids, they don't go home because they don't want to walk home and then not be food, and then you got to walk back. You see what I'm saying? First of all, let me just stop real quick because the Mabasa, Mr. Kevin Bledsoe, Mr. Don Harris, I mean, these are my dad's best friends. These are the guys who I got to, they've been doing it. They've paved the way. And me and my uncle Don Harris. And so to be able to literally be in my dad's footsteps, where the first school, Manasseh Mojo, they painted a memorial of my dad on the side of the school, in one of the classrooms. And it was, and the kids were crying. And then when they saw me, I guess I looked like them. When the kids embraced me, this was just day one. I was there for a couple weeks. Day one out the gate, they didn't wait. And but the impact, everything that we do here, it means so much more. Every single dollar here goes so much more over there. You know what I'm saying? That's why I appreciate my man Badge of Honor leading the charge. You know what I'm saying? Just in what the communities is doing. I appreciate my brother Bobby Bonds serving in our country. You know what I'm saying? Just doing the above and beyond thing. My man, both my veteran guy, my man AC and the B. I mean, people that truly fight for freedom. I mean, we could talk football and the Bears, that's like, it's a hobby. We don't have personal stake. We don't have personal stake in the Bears. It's like, but at the end of the day, when we leave the game, that's why I love the Barroom Network. That's why I love the Barfly Tailgate Show, because it's a global home for all Chicago Bears fans to come together. But we all bring something from our personal lives that can add value. And so, what you got, Badge? I don't want.
Well, so I mean, so you talked about that first day, man, and you know your experiences going over there and seeing those kids. You know, each day you got to partake in what they were doing, and you know, in your time there, how did seeing them each day, you know, change your perspective on what you thought this was before you went over there?
It was kind of like, for me, Badge, it was kind of like seeing what my childhood, my father's story, my dad's story, because he'll always tell me, my brothers, he'll always tell us, hey, this was going on. It's a whole nother world over there. And I mean this in the most respectful way. We are treated as kings and queens over there. It is literally KB. Everybody on the show, first of all, every single one of you all will fit in. That's one thing. Human engagement is encouraged, Bobby. It was so good to see people don't look to shy away from human contact.
Yeah.
And no matter the one thing, Badge, I know coming from America how we're living here. But Badge, when you go over there, you wouldn't be able to tell because they're so joyful. Wow. They are so freaking joyful, bro. You wouldn't even be able to. They don't know they're living bad. They're doing whatever it takes. They don't make excuses. And it's like, it's so many things that us Americans, and I'm so proud and I love this freaking country, and I served it proudly, and I'll do it again in a heartbeat. I took 2 oaths to protect and defend this country and a vow to always take care of the sick and the injured. And I don't have to be active duty to do those things. But going over there, seeing how people appreciate the small things and watching them live it out. But Badge, being on a beach and having somebody walk up to you and say, hey, I knew your dad. What?
Dude, I mean, dude, everything you were posting, when I saw that, dude, that had to be just absolutely amazing. Somebody that knew you're coming up to you, just probably, I mean, you and your dad, you can tell, you know.
Yeah, they're like spitting images of each other, man.
Yeah, and so I'm sure that's how he knew it. So I mean, they had to just like the feelings had to just pour over you, dude.
Bro, it was because not just they knew him, but your dad did so much for my school.
Yeah.
Your dad did so much. He did so much for this stuff that I knew he was cool, but like going through this process, and if you all don't know, actually May 8th will be the anniversary to where he went to be with our Heavenly Father. And so he battled cancer. He was a warrior. And Bobby, It's like finding out your dad was really Superman. It's
You
like,
already knew that, man. You already knew that.
but it's just like when you're going through it, usually like when you're going through his as a power of attorney, you're going through like, I'm like, what? What? Oh, you were part of the Justice League. You part of the Justice League. And I'm like, but he was doing so much. And like, I don't know if you guys saw this one clip. Some things what I was able to post was like a small percentage. Because I was so heavily embodied with the spirit. I totally had a Black Panther moment, KB. Totally had a Black Panther moment.
I was gonna say, you ain't know your daddy was King T'Challa, huh, bro? He was over there doing the damn thing, man. Just watching some of the stuff that you posted, the interactions that you had with people, man. You are truly a blessing on this earth, bro. Your whole family line, and that's coming from the heart. Y'all did work, man, and you continue to do it. What you do, it's the essence of what your father was. You know what I'm saying? Me and you had talks. You told me what your father did. You can't imagine how proud that man would be of you. Yeah. And I need you to understand that, bro. You said stuff and you've done it. It's a lot of people that say and they don't do, because a lot of people are about talking. You move in silence. You'll give the tip and say, you know what, man, this has to be done in the community. This has to be done in the world. Next thing you know it, man, you get on Instagram, this man's in Chicago in neighborhoods that are filled with gang violence. A week later, this man's in Mombasa on the beach.
Yep.
With children running around. I can't tell you how blessed I am to know you. You know what I'm saying? And I know I speak for everybody in this panel, man.
Absolutely.
It is a blessing to know you. You're an amazing individual. You show it every day. And I'm proud to say that you're one of my friends, man. The next mirror that they're gonna be painting is gonna be a you.
Think about what what KB just said, man. Like, we all came together because of this show. Like, we were able to meet Tyler because of this show, and then Bobby and I got to meet him in person at the Giants game in New York, and to now, that was 3 years ago. Wow. To now look at where we are today and what you're doing, Tyler, and the impact that you make every day, man, you're impacting somebody's life positively. That's exactly what Badge of Honor is all about, man. And you're living it every single day, man. So much praise, so much respect for you. Nothing but props to you and your whole family. An inspiration that you are to not only us, the comments in the chat from everybody in the chat, everybody that got to see your social media and the videos you were sharing and posting was such a blessing, man. And what an experience. And I'm telling you, man, someday I'm going over there with you, man. Someday I'm going over with you, man. So I get to experience that with you. It would be the most amazing thing in the world to be able to do something like that, man. Huge props to you, bro.
Fam, and Badge, and I want this to be known for the Barroom Network community. Thank you, KB. Thank you, Badge. My brothers and sisters, understand something. I'm nothing special. I'm nothing special. I serve an amazing God who empowers me to not live in fear. That's the key thing here. I'm blessed to be around people who don't make excuses, that just show me how to be the best version of myself. It started with the military, but then it started with my association. I can't talk about a Mike LeBou or Omar Powell. I can't talk about a Jordan Ellis. I can't talk about the servant leaders that I get to be around. My amazing church, Cornerstone Church here in Maryland, Badge, because it's not like Africa or this. It's about where we get to walk out every day, and wherever I'm at, that's where the blessing goes down. When I get done with this when we get done with this, I might just go to the gas station because it's somebody out there, you know what I'm saying, that's, my mom always said this, there's somebody in the back of a classroom that has a cure for cancer, but because they're scared to talk, we will never know it. And that's what happens when we slow down to go fast, which I learned from my mentor, when we just seek to understand, which is the mark of a true leader. It's not about us. John Maxwell says, if it's lonely at the top, go back and get other people. And I'm just blessed, Badge. It's not me, bro. I get to be around good examples, bro. And I just don't live my life in fear. And it's totally God. I gotta stop and say, yo, fellas, I'm not talking religion, I'm talking faith, which is different. I'm not checking a box about go to church. No, this is the church right here. This is the Barfly Tailgate show, and we are diehard Bears fans, win, lose, or draw, but we are united through common grind, and we are united through thought process that we are here to pick up one another. We're not just here for each other when the Bears win or the Bears lose. We want you, when the Bears lose, don't go home and get drowned in with alcoholism. This is about suicide prevention. Inject peace into your life. I had an amazing leadership conference these past 2 weekends, and if you haven't heard of Icky Johnson, go look him up. Go look up Icky Johnson. I saw him live in Kentucky a couple years ago. Just Gary Newell said it. Your destiny is found in your routine. And I had to change my habits. I had to change the things that I was doing, Badge, because I'm a single dad and of the most beautiful daughters you will ever see. And that's what it's about. It ain't about me. My dad was doing all these things. He was making an example for me and my siblings. My baby sis Jazz, Josh, Jordan. And so my daughters, Badge, Bobby, all you dads know. All you dads know.
That's what it's all about right there.
I love seeing, Bobby, how you interact with your daughters. Badge, I love how to see you interact with your daughters. You know what I'm saying? KB's always have his kid on the show. You know what I'm saying? And so it's all about the example that we can leave behind. And so it's not about us. How can we set up our families? And so do what I do, not just what I say sometimes, but being able to walk it out. And so I'm so freaking honored to be a part of the Badge of Honor heritage. And just, I want to say thank you. But as it's not about Tyler Ellis, I'm a son of Amos. I'm the son of Amos Ellis, and I am so proud to be his son. I'm so proud to be my father, to be my mother's son. My mom, 2-time breast cancer survivor from Jamaica, the strongest woman I know. I'm just very, very grateful. And I want to share this with you guys real quick because I literally just picked this up. I thought I was gonna be late, but I brought this back from Africa. Can y'all see that?
Oh man.
There we go.
Wow.
Can y'all see that?
Dude, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
And it was about supporting my man Titus. Shout out to my man Titus in Mombasa, Kenya. Supporting your fellow man. Over there, it was about entrepreneurs. Understand the average adult over there makes $6 a day US.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? And so the Mombasa Kenya Relief Initiative, what they're doing, anybody can help. I'm not special. We're thinking about going back in August. I'm definitely going back every March. But you can sponsor like $150 a year can pay for a child's entire school year and uniform. These small little things. You see what I'm saying? And so, like, I think I'm about to return. I think I'm going to return some Jordans that I had bought because it's like at the end of the day, what's the goal? What's the focus? For me, it's to build God's kingdom and hope and pray for a Bears Super Bowl. Those are the things that I.
That prayer ain't been answered.
But God's kingdom, bro, and that's why I'm so freaking grateful of the Barroom Network, the Barfly Tailgate Show. I know the fans are happy to have you guys back. I mean, it's just like it's bigger than us. And like Mike Tyson said, everybody got a plan till they get punched in the face. But what I learned in my IT and my medical background, prevention is cheaper than repair. And if we can get in on the front of a lot of causes and programs, there's a lot of kids who don't have to live a life that they're living. Our children should be able to stand on our shoulders. Our ceiling should be our children's floor. And that's why my daughters will inherit no debt, because I'm outcome focused on what can give somebody else a better life.
Listen, Tyler,
Go
You said twice. You said twice, 3 times. I'm nobody special, and you are, man. Because it's about the influence. It's about the example that you are for other people. And there's so many people out there, maybe listening to this, watching this, or just seeing some of the content that you post on the internet that don't have the influential figures that you had growing up, and you are that to them. So it's yes, you're a human being, and nothing physically is different, right? But what you do has such an impact on other people, and that shouldn't be lost on you. I think all of us, just today, right now, just listening to you, probably will do something better today because of this, right? Just because of this conversation, whether it's just in thought, whether it's in practice, or whatever it is, it's because of this interaction. So don't say that again, that you're nobody special, because you are.
Yeah, I think
and
everybody, all of us know that, man, and all the listeners know that. Everybody knows Gaines and Gaines' personality and like just you're probably you probably are like the best infectious thing in 2020. Like,
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because the way that you like, just the demeanor, man, and the way that you get other people on board and spread the positivity, man. It's something that's drastically needed, not just on damn Twitter or whatever. Like, it's needed. It's needed everywhere, man. And then to follow up with not just the positive attitude and the mindset, but to go out and go over there and actually provide additional funds and additional interactions and like even if it wasn't funds, right? Just to let the kids know that you fucking care about them is something huge for them, because it's not like what they like for them. Yeah, it'll be tangible, but it won't be tangible like as in here, put this in your pocket, right? But in the long run, it's tangible for them. And I think what makes them more like even a bigger impact is just interacting and seeing their faces, and then them seeing your faces, your face and everything like that, man. So Gaines, man, like it's nothing but mad love and respect, dude. And like, those are the types of things. And that's why I told these guys earlier before you got on, like, those are the types of things that I like to look at on Twitter, right? And I like to see like all this other toxic shit is what drove me like to be like, I'm done, man. Like, whatever. I told Badge, I was like, dude, I'm taking a break. I'm like, I might come back every now and then, but like, you're going to have to hold it down, man. I told him, if you tag me in something, you might want to send me a text, because I got my notifications off, like, cause I just got sick of seeing the toxicity, man, and all that. But to be a dude that's out there and battling that and doing everything else that you're doing, man, we greatly appreciate it. For everybody in the chat, and if you're not gonna watch the video, or if you're not on video and you're only listening to audio right now, on the bottom line there's the website for the mobasarelief.org, so check it out. It's www.mobasarelief.org/Amos. And once you hit /Amos, I'm pretty sure you'll get there. To do the rest of it, I mean, you probably won't remember if I say like TAC L, but just check it out, man. And we'll post it from the Tailgate account today, and get that out there. And Gaines, congrats, brother. Badge of honor.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah,
Congratulations.
Gaines.
Nothing but love, brother.
Greatly appreciate everything, man.
Man, I so much appreciate it, Bobby. And as you guys know, and anything that I post, it's about trying to just raise belief and awareness. And I may not, if I'm not active on Twitter, you can follow me on Instagram at freedom_gains. And it's all about, we about gains in every aspect of life. We in the gym, Bobby. And so, like, gains.
Yo, you ain't seen my chest on the new Barfly shirt? I'm in the gym, baby.
My man Bobby has an epic push-up drill for you guys as well on YouTube. But obedience through faith. And my dad, he's a Chicago guy.
Yeah.
And like Bears, Bulls, I lived the 90s. The Last Dance, I lived that with my dad. Those are the moments me and my brothers had with my dad in Chicago. And when the Bears used to lose, he was like, son, calm down. They're going to get paid anyway. and then he would leave, and then he would go referee. My dad, he was a licensed official in Chicago. He refereed some of Derrick Rose's games, Anthony Davis games. I mean, he was in the Chicago community, black theater in Chicago. Amos Ellis, tons of commercials for DirecTV. I mean, that's an Emmy. Him and Aldo probably know each other. So moving around, but always serving. Him and my uncle Don Harris, my uncle Darnell Forte, just seeing Mr. Kevin Bledsoe, just seeing the example. Anyway, that's why I just want to make sure it's not about me. Badge of honor. At the end of the day, more than Tyler Ellis, I'm the son of Amos Ellis, and I'm freaking proud. And I don't know what the Bears are doing, but I'm excited.
Anybody? Nobody knows what the Bears are
gang.
doing. Nobody knows what the Bears are doing. You should see some of the mocks we threw out. We don't fucking know, man. Like I told these guys, like, I'm not, I mean, I guess we'll pull it back over to football, but I'm not really. I hate doing draft mocks, man. You know why? Because it's like a game. Like, I don't know. It's like it's like, who knows? Like, and when people are like, "Oh, that guy's trash," oh, okay, or that guy's release point is horrible and his mechanics are garbage. Isn't that what they said about Mahomes?
Well, here's what it comes down to in draft. What makes it so hard to mock? All it takes is one team to fall in love with somebody. Look the Miami Dolphins fell in love with what was that?
Tua.
I'm thinking back further than that. The defensive end they drafted, Jordan from Oregon. They loved the guy, so they moved up and grabbed him 3rd overall, and he didn't work out. But that's all it takes is one person to fall. We saw right here, Ryan Pace fell in love with Trubisky in his Toyota Camry. Shout out Toyota. That's where I work at. And moved up one freaking spot to grab his guy. And at the time, I was like, well, we watched Aaron Donald go off the board one spot before us when we grabbed Kyle Fuller, so I understand it.
Yeah.
But that's what makes mock drafts so difficult.
McClellan and Chandler Jones now, or is this a bad time?
I mean, it's the draft, baby.
Hey,
I'll
tell you one thing Shane McClellan did that Chandler Jones never did. He snapped freaking Aaron Rodgers' collarbone.
Hey, that's not a victory.
The one thing.
Hey,
awesome.
I'm ready for Aaron Rodgers to just hang him up and be on Jeopardy full time from that. Just go ahead and hang him up, bro. I mean,
yeah. I mean, so look at this is the way that I've seen all this go down, right? If you look at, and for all the and Mike, I know you're gonna laugh because I was thinking about this the other day, and if you don't know, we've with what Gold Boys, Mike? Gold Boys. We've been doing a lot of NBA betting and gambling, and we hit another one last night for over 1,000. So we've been collecting up these little stimmy checks the last couple of weeks here. But if you look at a GM and you try to make his picks like a parlay, you're always going to fail because one of them aren't going to work out, or it's going to take a while. Whatever, he's not going to reach where he needs to reach. If you look at each of his individual picks as a single bet, you're coming out winning with Ryan Pace. And that's it. You look at that Trubisky, sure, it didn't work out, right? It's a bust. Yes, he's gone. He's out of the organization. It is officially a bust. No coming back from that. You know what I'm saying? Those picks are gone. I get it. But if you look at the other picks that he's made, we have some good talent. The problem is
they don't know how to use it.
How we develop that talent afterwards, and how do we continue to let that talent pay off? So it's not so much as in Pace is horrible. I don't believe Pace is horrible. I know other people think that he's horrible and he should be gone. But what do you do with that money after you won the bet? How did you develop and stack that money into doing more things? And we don't develop our picks at all anywhere. And go ahead.
Every organization has hits and every organization has misses, right? And if there was a science to this thing, everybody that's ever been drafted in the first round would be making a Pro Bowl. And they don't. Right? Yeah. Like if you look at the last, I think the first round, probably more so than any other round in the draft, is as overvalued, if not more, than anything else. I mean, teams are trading first round picks or trading for first round picks, giving up assets in the second, third round. I started doing this this week, and it became way too overwhelming of a task. But I was looking at Pro Bowl rosters from the last 3-4 seasons. What round were these dudes drafted in? And I'll tell you what, I mean, it's a third round, a fourth round, just kept coming up, and very few guys in the first round. So, like, let's go back to like this whole idea of like mock drafts. Think about it. We're putting things in perspective today, right? We got Tyler here with us, helping us put things in perspective. The amount of thought and energy that goes into the dumb exercise of fake draft picks. If that was invested into doing good in the world, what a different place this would be, right? Like, I mean, I had that thought last week, and I'm sitting at the kitchen counter. I ran like 74 mock drafts, and I'm like, what am I doing with my time here? Like, there's no value to this. But, you know, I don't know.
With that, let's throw up Mr. Mike Schaefer's mock draft.
Oh boy.
And let's start off there and see. So I think we got that thing. We're pulling it up for you guys. We'll throw Mike's draft in here, and I know we got 4 of them to go through. So, and we're gonna get Tyler's opinion too. So let's rapid fire on these and kind of get it going, because otherwise we're gonna spend like 2 hours just on this. So let's not do that. If we got Mike's draft, let's go ahead and throw it up there. All right, Mike, why don't you, real quick, just in case people aren't watching the video and they're just listening, right? Why don't you hit who your 3 picks were, and then we'll kick it around the room real quick.
Yeah, first round, I've got the Bears filling the void that Kyle Fuller has left gapingly wide open. Taking quarterback Caleb Farley from Virginia Tech. My second pick is an offensive lineman from Michigan, Jalen Mayfield. And then in the third round, I don't necessarily think he's going to slip to us in the third round at this point after the last couple of weeks. But I've got the Bears picking quarterback Davis Mills out of Stanford. Just like all the rest of my mock drafts that I do on Saturday, on Sunday, I am redoing. So I could probably give you guys more reasons why I don't like those picks than why I do like those picks.
I mean, I like them, man. I like the cornerback, right? Like, we have to go up and do it. It makes perfect sense, right? And I don't think that there's anything, like, if we ended up with that, I think there's promise. And that's just kind of how it goes. Like, if we ended up with those 3 positions, or hopefully, they wouldn't be an Adam Shaheen. Let's take a guy who's probably not going to fucking go here. But either way,
let's not say that name again, please.
I mean, he did a lot better last year. I'll tell you that. But to go from there, man, I think the positional picks are spot on. I think it's what we need, right? And I think it's just up to the matter of where you feel like is the more important place to go, you know?
Yeah, it's about getting value too, right? And like I feel like with Farley, you're getting value, like because he would go higher. He'd
be a top 10 pick,
big, strong press corner, exactly. And I'm just not confident in our cornerbacks right now. I think Shelley and Vildor did a great job last season, sort of stepping in, but those are like slot corner guys, like for your long term.
Yeah.
And does Trufant stay healthy next season? He's getting older. He's not Kyle Fuller. You know, for me, I think it was just the recency of Kyle Fuller being let go that I was like, oh shit, we have to fill that hole. But at the same time, it still is a pretty good need, or a pretty big need.
That's one thing that worries me about that pick. I like Farley. Everything I've seen of him, I like the way he plays. He's tenacious. He goes after the ball. He played wide receiver for a few years, so he has ball skills. But the injuries, if you look at our cornerback depth chart, you've got Jalen Johnson, shoulder injury. You've got Caleb Farley, back injuries. You've got Trufant, history of injuries. So could we end up with Shelley and Vildor number 1 and number 2? And that's scary to me. I like those guys, but I wouldn't put them in that position. You know what I'm saying? They're 5th and 6th round picks respectively.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in on Vildor, honestly, as a 2. I thought Duke played well last year, but I definitely think there's room to improve. And I think these guys recognize, what's at stake for them, including Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson is, he's talking about it. He's saying, hey, I'm CB1 now. So I'm working my tail off. And believe me, Kendall Vildor, Duke Shelley, Xavier Crawford, all these guys, Trufant, they're all doing the same thing. I'd be frustrated with the organization if they went defense with their first pick. To me, the defense, even losing Kyle Fuller, the defense is still probably one of the top defenses in the league. The offense, to me, has to be where Ryan Pace makes his mark in this draft, guys. And I love the Farley pick. I do. I think he's a great player, but at the same time, where do you look at the Lions last year, since we've got the Lion fan in our chat? They grabbed Jeff Okudah with their 3rd fucking pick, and did he see the field last year? I don't even think he played a game, right? So, I'm okay if they do it, fine. I don't think I'll love it, because I think the offensive line needs help, and wide receiver is a position of need, and obviously quarterback is huge. So, I think I would be slightly frustrated if they did it, but I totally understand why you went that way, Mike. Totally understand.
Yeah. And speaking of quarterback, skip ahead to the 3rd pick, Davis Mills. Do you guys think he lasts that long, or do you think we have to reach in the 2nd round or earlier?
The more I'm seeing, I don't think he'd be there in the 3rd round.
I think, yeah. And I think
I want it to be a reach.
So, and I told you guys, and we'll go to badges next, but I told, like, even with mine, man, all these people started dropping off the board, and I'm like, what is the Bears organization going to do once these guys are gone, right? And that was it. That's how I got to mine, and I was like, I guarantee, like, this shit is going to happen. We know Pace loves to trade up. We know that to me, the trade up is more of a panic button than it is a confidence in the player. It's like, wait, this guy's going to be gone. Oh, I need to do something right now. What do I do? Like, boom. And that's what I think we see this year, and that's how I got to mine. But go ahead, AC.
With 5 quarterbacks probably going in the top 10, that's when you'll see that panic. Like, oh, man, these guys are going. We've got it. Because when there's a run on a position, that's when you see reaches happen. But this is also a it's hard to say. It's a deep offensive tackle class, but it's also a top-heavy offensive tackle class. And if that makes sense, you can get a starter third, maybe fourth round, but if you want a franchise guy, you may have to grab him first, or like we just saw with Schaefer's draft, second round. Mayfield projects more of a guard from what a lot of people are saying, but
yeah. But I don't know. I mean, that's the crapshoot of the draft, though. Who's to say this is going to be a franchise guy? Who knows?
And we know Ryan Pace doesn't have a poker face. So
yeah. All right, let's move over to Mr. Ryan Badgley's draft. I know Badge has got to get out of here in a little bit, so let's go through Badge's draft, and then we'll get your guys' thoughts on that. We'll start off with Mr. Gaines next.
Man, life would be simple if Badge was in the front office. Like, I wouldn't be worried. I'm like, all right, bet. Makes sense. It makes sense because Badge, I love that. I truly love that. I felt like you took care of the first of all, you took care of the needs. That's why it's so unreal. I'm like, I don't see the Bears doing things that make sense. It's like we want them to but that
and he didn't reach.
That's my draft.
I saw no reaches to take Mound in the third round. That's a non-reach. You get a quarterback position. We know Andy Dalton's going to start this year. Andy may do some things right now, and so but that is Nagy proof in my opinion, because no matter what, that tackle right there, Badge, that's a big guy right there, and no matter what,
he's a freaking road grader. That's what this offensive line needs. Is a guy that's gonna road grade dudes. It's the Kyle Long freaking, Olin Kreutz before him. Like, that's what this offensive line needs, is a guy that's just gonna he's gonna play to the whistle, and if he's freaking pushing somebody to the ground, he's gonna freaking jam him into the ground when that whistle blows.
He literally,
Jenkins, to me, that's our offensive line, that right tackle spot is up for grabs. Yeah. And, maybe he comes in and maybe he moves, maybe he can play left tackle. Hey, who knows? But if he's there at 20, I think it's a mistake to not improve your offensive line with a top 20 pick and a guy like him right there. Tony, when I did mine, I did a bunch like Mike. I did freaking 40 different goddamn mocks too. And, each site is different and their rankings are different. So I tried to find a site where the rankings were somewhat halfway decent. Tony, I had him dropping into the second round. In all honesty, I don't know that he really makes it out of the first, because he is a guy that is a burner. He can catch probably a curl or a hook and, or a hitch and take it the distance.
I mean, screen pass is
Matt
really
Nagy's
good
offense. And then Mond, you guys know I was not high on Mond. I wasn't. But then I watched a little bit of tape on him. I'm hoping it's not Matt Nagy that works with him. I'm hoping it's Flip. And he can develop him. I don't love him, but he was there in the third round. And actually, when I did my mock, Mills was already gone. So I kind of took what was there to me, the best quarterback option available, I guess. And that's why I went with Mond. I don't know. In all honesty, I'm really hoping Ryan Pace puts a package together and is able to get up somewhere and grab an elite quarterback. I don't think it's going to happen. If he does something like that, watch him draft Kyle Pitts or some shit, and it would just fucking great.
Kyle Pitts might be the second best player in this draft, but he doesn't feel
I get it, but what we grab Cole Kmet for?
Right.
And Jimmy Graham's still on the roster. So if you're targeting tight end,
Pitts would fill in that Jimmy Graham spot. We could just cut him.
Yeah.
Badge, I like the security that Jenkins gives us just from a protecting Dalton standpoint. Just from a quarterback. It doesn't matter who your quarterback is if he can't throw the ball.
Yeah.
If Dalton can't, if Dalton's on the move, he's gonna throw interceptions. Like at the end of the day, give this veteran a clean pocket to throw to the open guy. Like let's just break this down to the simplest form. Throw to the open guy and score points.
Yeah, how many times do we see Mooney running wide open and get missed?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it ain't like Dalton throws that much better of a deep ball than Trubisky.
I think he does, though. I
swore I saw somewhere where he maybe it was just last season that he wasn't that accurate, but
if you give him a clean pocket, he's better. But that Dallas offensive line had a lot of injuries last year.
Right.
Guys, and I want to hear you guys take on this. I know we want to go around. It's going to come down to, first of all, I love that pick. Worst case scenario, I would be perfect with that pick, Badge. But the fact of the matter, we don't know if Atlanta's going to take a quarterback or not at number 4. And so that's kind of where who's going to drop. Carolina doesn't need a quarterback anymore. The Lions, they will be silly to you just gave away. You got a quarterback now. And so there's places that somebody's going to drop. Because like you said, AC, there's 5. But not all those people need a quarterback. So there's going to be – so either the tackles are going to drop or the quarterbacks are going to drop. And that's what kind of depends on what the Bears are going to do.
Guys, I got to drop. It was great to be back with you. Looking forward to next week. Hey, I want to remind everybody, draft day, we're going to have some trivia. So next week, we're looking for a participant in some trivia. So if you want to hit up the Barroom account, my account, the Barfly Tailgate account, if you want to get in on some trivia with the opportunity to win an autographed Allen Robinson Barroom Network Badge of Honor football, hit us up, hit one of us up, and we'll get you on for some trivia, and then you'll go on draft day. Or for our draft show, you'll go up against our first competitor. Winner gets the ball. So I hope you guys have a great week, and bear down.
Hell yeah, Badge.
All right, Badge. We'll talk to you later, brother.
Later, guys.
All right, boys. So we're digging into these draft things a little bit. And like we said, these mock drafts, a lot of the times, depending on where you go, the site just kind of values players differently, right? Or values what the team is going to pick differently. And that's why I told you guys, like, I really don't care for them. But all in all, like, it is what it is. And here we are.
I liked what Boy Badge said there about the comparing it to Kyle Long pick, the way Tevin Jenkins plays, just nasty. And you always hear people saying blocking people off he pushed him off the field. There is a play between Tevin Jenkins and Joseph Osai from Texas where he literally blocks him out of the freaking field. He pushed him all the way out the field. So I like that pick. And Kadarius Toney, you hate to say a Tyreek Hill type player because Tyreek Hill is so great, but that's the way I see Kadarius Toney being in the league. Just get the ball to him in space and let him do his thing. And then Kellen Mond will be I'm not a huge fan of Mond. I feel like he holds on to the ball too long, and there's times that offense, Jimbo Fisher's offense, is very quarterback friendly, and we didn't see him improve exponentially throughout his college career. But when you're in that third round and you're looking for you got to fill a quarterback. We got to get younger at quarterback. Mon might be the guy to go with there
and in the third round, I'm good in the third round. If you stretch in the second round and get mine, then I'll be upset. But I agree. I thought Badge's pick set was the best out of all of us. I also anointed him GM the day that his picks were released. But I think, Tevin Jenkins. So I did throw my Jalen Mayfield pick like literally out the window the day after because I was like, oh, he's versatile. He can play guard. He's got a lot of ceiling. He's young. But you know what? That's not what we need. We've got those guys. We need an anchor. We need a guy that can play tackle for the next 10 years and eventually replace Leno on the left side, right? So I thought he was spot on. I think if they go Darisaw or Vera Tucker from USC, we're still in good shape there too with the first round pick. But kudos to Badge on that. I don't think Tony lasts.
I think this draft goes one or two ways, man. We either take a quarterback at 20 that nobody has confidence in, or we take a lineman at 20 and people are like, he can never be a left tackle. That's how this draft is going to play out. People are either going to talk shit about the lineman that we drafted at 20, or they're going to talk shit about the quarterback that we drafted at 20.
I mean, that's funny that you say he'll never play left tackle because, I mean, my draft is coming up and I don't want to give no teasers, but
but I think you know what I mean. Like, there's guys who almost every tackle for the draft, there's somebody knocking them saying that he won't, that he questionable quality starter at the left side, at the next level, questionable at the next level, whatever. And I just think that that's how the majority of every tackle goes, because nobody wants to say that this guy is going to be able to stop your beast of an edge rusher coming at you. But yeah, let's go ahead and we'll tee up AC's picks here, and then we'll kick it from there. All right, AC, what you got, man?
So, first round, and I've been falling in love with this guy the more I read about him and watch tape, watch what other people have to say about him. Liam Eichenberg in the first round. I think he can really solidify. You plug him in right away at left tackle if you want to and cut Leno post June 1st and make some money back. But he's also, from what I've seen in mock drafts, now obviously all it takes is one person to fall in love with this player and move up and grab him. But if a team like the Ravens, who are looking for pass rusher, or the Bills, who have to fill that running back spot, want to trade up and we make a couple of picks back and still end up with Liam Eichenberg, I think the furthest downhill fall is the Chiefs, because they need a left tackle. Obviously, they cut both their tackles. So I went ahead and grabbed him in the first round because my general manager told me I couldn't trade back Aldo. And then in the second round, Christian Barmore. Look, this defensive tackle class is not deep at all. It's Christian Barmore and then everybody else. So the fact that he was even there at 52 it was insane. So I just went ahead and grabbed him, and it's mock season, so just grab the way it falls to you. If he's not there like I expect, I would probably grab a corner. Everybody on here knows that I like Kelvin Joseph. I'm biased because he went to Kentucky, but I love the guy. And if he's not there, Paulson Adebo from Stanford is another possible grab there. And then in the third round, just like Mike, I grabbed, in my opinion, the best quarterback that was there was Davis Mills. So I went ahead and got him. He's got injury concerns, but he ran a pro-style offense at Stanford. And I think he's got the tools. He could be one of those guys that won't even be there at 52 because of the tools that he has running a pro-style offense. And people just there's the quarterback draft, and then there's the every other position draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like your Barmore pick, and I don't like your Barmore pick because I think we need to draft a defensive tackle. But I like that you were smart about it, and you took the best player available, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we always talk about, right? Is not picking for a positional need. And so the fact that you looked at the board and he was the best guy and you took him, I admired that a ton. I love Eichenberg too. So as long as we're trading back, I think to get him, I think it's a little bit of reach, especially if guys like Vera Tucker and Darrisaw are still on the board. You trade back a few spots and you can still get Eichenberg. But I love him. I'm a big Irish fan, so let's go. But I thought yours was awesome too. I mean, everybody's was good except mine.
Oh, well, wait. We
In
haven't
my
done mine
opinion.
yet. We haven't done mine yet. And I went off of, and I think AC's is good too. I think there's, like I said before, man, I don't really hold any weight with any of these things, right? Like, you see like thousands of them come out, and you're like, yeah, okay, cool, that could work, right? And I'm not going to be like,
I've ran thousands of them.
Yeah, I think I did 4. And that was just for this. But you're not going to be like, because you don't know what else was on the board at the time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what else you saw at that time. And if we're, are you doing this by what you think they should do, or are you doing this by what you think they will do?
When I grabbed Eichenberg, what was Jenkins was gone, Vera Tucker was gone, Darrisaw was gone, so there was a little run on tackle. I think it was between Sam Cosmi and Eichenberg, and I feel like Eichenberg projects more of a left tackle than Cosmi does. Cosmi, you can plug him in at right tackle, and he'll probably be good, and you can coach him up to possibly move to the left side. But to me, Eichenberg's a plug and play left tackle, and he could probably play right tackle if you need him to. So that's why I went with him and over Cosmi.
Yeah, so I mean, I kind of think what I'm trying to kind of get at though is, do any of the guys that we've picked, if it's an 8-8 season, does anybody save Nagy's job? Is anybody there as a promise for the future? Because you're running in with Dalton and you're running in with Foles, and then who's the this got promise? Whether or not people, right? Who's your player that's saving a job? And you guys know whether or not I agree with it. I personally think that Ryan Pace is safe no matter what. I don't think he's going anywhere for a long time. I think Nagy will be the first one gone. Pace will get time, and I think Pace is like kind of married to the organization at this point. I'd be surprised if they got rid of him. If he wasn't the GM, they're going to move him up to a different position, and then they'll bring in a different GM. But I think Pace stays within the organization. Nagy, I feel he's the one whose job is on the line, right? And I don't know, maybe that defeats what I was saying, but who's your splash? Who's this guy's going to make a difference player?
But it seems like Darnell Mooney saved his ass last year, so we might, like a guy I mentioned earlier, Jalen Darden, that you can grab probably with one of those 4 6 round picks, might be one of those players where they see him and say, we're good for the future there.
I mean, he's a punt returner too, right? Isn't Darden?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think
he's out of North Texas or something like that.
Yeah, and that fills a spot that maybe like a little void if Miller ends up gone, right? And you don't want to put Tariq back there anymore, and CP's now a Falcon. I mean, it's a smart pick, right? And it fills the need at that point. I just think that they're going to try to come out and splash, whether it's a trade up, whether it's trying. And we seen what yesterday, was it on First Take? I don't know what it was on. It was on one of those, but that the Bears were back trying to sent another thing over to Houston, trying to pull Watson again. Even with everything that's going on, they're trying to get him now for less value, right? Trying to offer up less, and that they'll weather the storm for a year, or that they'll weather the storm and see what happens. So I don't know, man. I just don't think that. Granted, I would love for them to go out and go tackle, DB, right? Maybe and then next BPA, right? So BPA for all those, but middle linebacker maybe somewhere. Like, are we? Is Danny going to make it? Depending on who's the best ones next, right? Wide receiver possibly. Like, who's your best player available for those positions? And that's what I would like to see. But what I think is going to happen is coming right up.
Okay, Bobby.
Yo.
Okay, let me tell you something. That would be the most. That would Twitter would break if it went down like that. That would be awesome. It would be. I would love to see it because like I've heard so many different things about that quarterback, so many different things, and I love your stance. So if he's there, take him. That would I can just see Bears fans is going crazy.
Yeah,
and that's what will happen, and that's truly what will happen with that pick. And this AC going back to your pick with Mills, I believe he only had 11 games in Stanford, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, only 11 games because of the injury. But I believe that the head coach said there is no Andrew Luck, but he was one of the closest things to it. And so, but we will be drafting Mills purely off possible potential.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that pick, I like where you had him at, so it's not a reach.
Yeah.
With Bobby's guy, man, if he's gonna create, oh my god.
Yeah. So this is what I think. This is what I think is going to happen.
Bobby dropping bombs.
I think somebody's trading up late in the first round and they're taking Trask, right? I think that most of the quarterbacks will be gone by then, and Pace goes into panic mode, man. And what do I need to do? Like, I mean, I had a couple of drafts where Mac Jones fell to us at 20. There's no possible way that's happening. Like, I don't understand how. I mean, I don't believe it's happening, but hey, whatever. I don't
see him getting past the Patriots.
Yeah, I like Ravi's comment. Trask teammates didn't go to his birthday party. And yeah, I get it. I mean, I believe he was a wide receiver, before and whatever, man. But I think this has Pace written kind of on it, right?
I like Trask, but I hate him at 20.
Sure. Yeah, I would rather take a long-term tackle at 20. That's going to sure up everything. I just feel that they're going to want to make a splash. So I see him taking Trask. Little that's got Pace written all over it. I mean, 2 years ago, this guy was said to be one of the top 5 picks in the NFL, whatever. Then he gets a knee injury. Then he sits out. You got Kuiper and all these guys talking about how he was the damn, like a sure thing, left tackle, right? Then he gets injured, whatever. That's got Pace written all over it to where a guy will probably be there later on, but he's going to take him. And he's going to take him earlier, and he's going to get in there and get after it. So that's kind of what, my thoughts were going
I don't hate it.
And we'll see, man. I don't know. If they don't take somebody, I think that they're taking a quarterback in the first round, 100%. I get everybody wants a tackle. Everybody wanted Leno gone by now. Everybody wanted Pace and Nagy weren't coming back this year. Like, whatever, man. That shit is constantly wrong.
Well, before we move on, you talk about trading up for a quarterback. Everyone knows I love Mac Jones. And now last week, it came out that the 49ers traded up for Mac Jones. And I went on Instagram, and Louis Riddick was talking about why Mac Jones is a fit if that's the position they go in. And dumb me, I went into the comments section, and the first thing I saw was we see the same crap. And I'm going to go on a rant here about Mac Jones. I like Mac Jones. I think 3 may be too high for him. But if that's your guy, go get your guy. But here's the 2 things that you see with Mac Jones. Number 1, well, he was surrounded with all that talent at Alabama. Of course, he succeeded. When Joe Burrow came out from LSU, look at the talent that was around him. He had 3 first-round picks at wide receiver, 3 top offensive linemen, and no one said a word about it. They just said he's the best quarterback in college football. Go get him at number 1. Nobody said anything. Yeah. But Mac Jones comes out, and it's completely opposite because he went to Bama. And then the other comment, I believe Ravi or 4,000 Clover said it here in the comment section as well, is I don't want a quarterback from Alabama because they don't do very good. And you see the same thing about Ohio State quarterbacks. Listen, look at the tape and decipher for yourself, because Texas Tech had the best quarterback that's in the league possibly right now. Who else has came from Texas Tech that balled out? Who the GOAT went to Michigan. Yeah. That's not a quarterback factory. It's all about putting your quarterback in position to succeed and surrounding them with talent. Now, whether or not Nagy can do that, we have yet to see. But just because look at Oregon, how many busts did they put into the league before Justin Herbert came out and did his thing and won Rookie of the Year last year? You can't just look at a college and say, yeah, they've never done anything from there. No. Yeah. So they'll never do anything in the future. Look, and I'm no tape expert. I'm no scout. I'm not on Draft on Tap. All right. That's a completely different show. And I love that show. I love Neil. I love Danny, even though Neil shat all over my boy Jamie Davis last week when he was going through inside linebackers. We ain't gonna touch on that, but I'm saying, don't just take the narrative that they went to this college so they'll never succeed, or he had all this talent around him. Of course he succeeded, because in the league you should have talent around you as well. The cream rises to the top, and that's what the NFL is. So why would you say, he's got Waddle and Smith and Najee Harris, so of course he succeeded. When you come to the league, you might have, David Montgomery and Allen Robinson and Mooney, who's playing well. I don't know if our offensive line is as good as Alabama's was.
but I agree with you, man. I think it's a whole, to say, well, this guy's from here, so he can't be a top tier. That's just, it's just asinine, man. That's how the fuck does that even work out well? You know what I mean? And then I think in the grand scheme of things, we know for certain what we're going to see on draft day, whether or not it's the Bears, right? We're going to see people overpay. We're going to see people fall for stupid reasons, right? People are going to drop. And then we're going to see moves on guys that now all of a sudden people are like, oh my God, how did they let him fall that far? Right. When 7,000 mock drafts had this dude in the later round. And I just think that it's, like you said, Neil, the guys in draft on that, they're the experts. I don't draft, man. I don't do it. What I do is after the Bears get him, because the shit's been fucking it started with the whole Kyle Long's piece, and then Shaheen, and after the Bears get him, I'll go back and watch all the tape, and I'll go back and spend time looking at the player then and finding out whose birthday party he went to, Ravi. But but I'll check it when it happens. But do I like the draft? Of course I do. I love watching where the players fall and learning about the players and doing that sort of deal, right? But to kind of to wrap it up, I think to say a player is no good because he's from a certain school is just it's kind of a trash take, because whatever. It's
stupid.
Still,
it's stupid. I got a question for AC though. So let's say Mac Jones gets through San Francisco, right? And so Atlanta's on the clock. How high are you willing to trade up, and what are you willing to give up to take him?
It's difficult to say. I don't know that we have the ammo to get to 4. We're 20th. The Patriots need a quarterback. They're 15th. Panthers, yeah, they traded for Darnold, but they may still want a young guy for the future behind Darnold. So as far as getting to 4, I don't see it for the Bears. I think the highest we may be able to get, the Cowboys are sitting there at 10, and we may miss, and you may have Trey Lance and Mac Jones sitting there. If they're there at 10, I'm thinking a first this year, a first next year, and maybe a third or one of those 6th this year. I don't know if that'll get you there, but
let me ask you something, AC. If you're one, or all of you guys, if you're one of these other teams, so right now you're not the Bears, you're the team that has the pick, and the Bears call for the trade. What do you want? What are you telling the Bears?
I think it depends on what your needs are. If you're a team like I just mentioned, Dallas, they need a corner and they need probably offensive line depth, because we saw what happened last year when they had some injuries. Andy Dalton wasn't able to succeed because he was running for his freaking life. And at 20, you look at the corners that'll be there. You'll probably have Patrick Surtain will be gone. J.C. Horn may fall there. Or if they like Caleb Farley a lot, like we saw Mike grab, that might be a position to trade back. I think you have to get over the Patriots. I think if Mac Jones or Trey Lance is there for the Patriots, there's no way they don't grab one of those guys.
Yeah.
Because they've got Cam Newton, who he might do better with some weapons around him this year, but he looked like he couldn't throw the ball. He could run. You can run an option with him. But Trey Lance is a guy that needs to sit for a year or two. But Mac Jones, to me, is ready today. He reads defenses. He's got a pretty deep ball. He has an accuracy. He's not the most athletic, but if you've got a good offensive line in front of you, you don't need to have a Cam Newton or a Justin Fields type player who can run around the field and chuck it deep at the same time.
What I hate about trading up is it essentially takes you out of the sweepstakes for Russell Wilson next year, or potentially Deshaun Watson. So you're basically gambling. And I think we all know the track record of trading up for a quarterback. We obviously are one of those examples, but it rarely works out. So I don't like the idea of doing that. I'd rather reach and do what Bobby did, take a guy that you have a 5th-year option on, as Aldo mentioned, in the first round. And now I still have a shot next season at one of those 2 guys if they're still available around the market.
So like Andre just said, like trading back into the first to get him. And I seen that yesterday. I know. So we did these drafts last week. But I seen that yesterday where somebody was saying that the Bears are going to trade back into the end of the first round and grab Trask. I think in all honesty, I guess it could still work out, right? But trading back up again for another quarterback, I'd rather shoot my shot now while I got it and go from there, man. I don't know. Go ahead, Gaines. Sorry.
No, bro. I was going to say a couple things for all of you. Bobby, you made some good points before your mock draft, because who's the future? This thing about the draft, not so much the players, but the organization. Okay. One, we don't know. And I'm not so much into the draft this year because I don't know who my coach is going to be for the future. And I feel like this is a all-in year on like assessment. Right, I do feel like Bobby. I agree. Ryan Pace will be there, but there should be a microscope on the scouting department. Are we picking best player available, or are we filling needs? They always say don't draft at your emotions. Are we trying to win right now? Well, we're trying to win right now. Who are we playing against this season? We're going against the NFC East. We're going against the AFC North. Okay, that's the Browns, Bengals, and Ravens. We're going against the Arizona Cardinals, who are not the same Arizona Cardinals. They make some serious moves. Then San Francisco 49ers. The Bears got a lot of trash talk, but guess what? Solomon Thomas, who was picked above Mitch Trubisky, is no longer San Francisco. And they're picking in the top 5 again. And so I know we're hard on the Bears, but there's other teams that's just as much messing up just like we are. What's the mindset? Are we trying to win right now, like Bobby said? Are we trying to – what's going to shadow stuff? What's going to save Matt Nagy's job? Because not only you have to pick the player, they got to produce. Who's going to produce? And I've been hearing the Bears sent all these scouts to – didn't they send all these scouts to Justin Fields' workout pro days?
Yeah.
So are we waiting? Is there going to be a draft day bonanza that Bears send some RG3 picks to move up to get Fields? Because why would they market sending all of these scouts to Fields' pro day and all these different things? Yes, I want to tackle. Yes, I want the fundamental things. But to save Matt Nagy's job.
Yeah. They have to splash, dog.
If you have a chance at Justin Fields,
yeah, I would trade him.
You got to go get him. You've got to. We were talking about trading the farm for Deshaun Watson, who, bless his heart, we don't know what's going on with him. He might be on the commissioner's exempt list. I'm not going to touch on it because it's all hearsay right now.
Yeah.
Or Russell Wilson, who is 33 years old. You want to talk about Justin Fields? Reminds me of Russell Wilson. The way he plays, the way he's able to manipulate the pocket, moving around, and he can hit. He's got accuracy deep.
Yeah, dude, I've liked Fields. I liked Fields since this whole QB1 thing. Remember when he was in high school and they did the QB1 thing? So before he even touched the college field, he was on there. And I think, honestly, for me, and I think that shows you the kid's actual character. Like, he was in high school and they're following him around and watching, right? And I think that shows you way more character now, like then, right? And who he is instead of who he is pre-draft, because everybody's trying to be damn, the angel pre-draft. Nobody wants to talk about, like, people delete all their shit off of everything because ain't nobody trying to get caught up with stuff, right? But I'm all for it, for Fields and doing it. And I mean, I think they have to make a splash, man. The Bears have to make a splash. Getting these, and I seen Ravi, maybe a developmental guy in the 5th. Ravi, I think that would have been great if we did it for the last 4 years or the last 5 years. But now, like, that shit's already boiled over, man. Like, it's too late in the game to do that. And I feel like, for me, well, would I like to see it? Of course. Like, I don't care. Risk it all, man. Put fucking 500 down on black. It ain't going to bother me tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit's over with for me. Like, let's see what we get, right?
Right.
But,
Bobby, real quick. And this was my concern, and Mike, you brought this up. Last year, the last 2 years, guys, we've talked about not my dislike, but I paid attention to the lack of man coverage that Buster Screen would play. So there was such a big need at the nickel corner. Then the Bears released our best corner. I'm like, crap. Mind you, we would lose games based off of Aaron Rodgers completing on 3rd down because our nickel corner could not cover. So now Devontae Adams is free to go do whatever he wants. The blessing is Detroit Lions lost those 2 wide receivers over there, and Thielen is by himself. And so, but still, at the end of the day, guys, we got to beat the Packers.
I don't think Thielen's by himself.
No, he's not. Retract that statement. Retract that statement from that record. I forgot about that. I forgot about that statement. But no, because my man Jefferson, right?
Yeah,
killing it over there. But the fact of the matter is, we have holes. So the reason why I was talking about this we can't waste picks on developmental guys because we have holes to fill. Inside linebacker, nickel, defensive line. Is Eddie Goldman coming back? Are we one injury away from not stopping the run? And so if we're going to get guys that are not starting, then what are we walking into the season?
Yeah, and I think I don't mind the developmental guys, right? Like, I'm okay with that, like in the later rounds. But
if we trade up, Bobby. But if we trade up.
Yeah, but look, for me, this is get developmental guys behind guys who are already studs, right? Like, don't do your offensive line like you've done it for the last couple of years, where your offensive line depth is free agents, undrafted free agents that you sign after the draft, and 7th round picks. Like,
and we got lucky.
Yeah, like,
we got lucky that those worked. right?
Yeah.
We got lucky that these Notre Dame guys wanted to follow Harry Easton
Oh, I know.
to Chicago, right?
Yeah.
You can't count on that. Hope is not a strategy.
But that's perfect. Put that on a t-shirt. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't mind the developmental guy, but we need the developmental guys that are, you know, I mean, I guess if you have nothing else, you have to kind of do it, but you need the guys behind guys that are there to do things. What did Angel say? Would you guys be upset if they draft back-to-back tackles? No,
not at all.
I wouldn't be. Now, would I be like, I wouldn't be upset, right? And I Angel, with you asking the question, I don't think you will either, but how is the rest of, you know, what is the whole Twitter universe going to feel on back-to-back tackles? And, you know, how do we I don't know. I'm just saying,
it's
like,
not a sexy pick because it's not a wide receiver or a running back or whatever, but it fills a need. You probably aren't going to reach, and if you do it that way, you're not reaching for a quarterback either. So if you wait till, let's say they wait till one of those 4 or 6 round picks and grab Sam Ehlinger, then you've got 2 tackles to go along with a winner at quarterback. But and a lot of people love Sam Ehlinger. Danny Shimon from Draft on Tap loves the guy.
He's loved him for a few years.
Pound the table for Sam Ehlinger. But yeah, if you go tackles the first 2 rounds, then you're solidifying your offensive line for the next decade.
How much
I may be wrong. But I may be wrong, brother. But didn't the Dallas Cowboys do something similar like this 5-6 years ago? And they did that. That was before they had Zeke. It was before they had Zeke. The Cowboys went heavy. And I don't know if it was back to back, but the Cowboys had the best offensive line in the NFL for that period. And then Zeke came in and won the rushing title. Jordan Howard was like second the year after.
Yeah.
But look, when the Cowboys line started to mess up, Zeke isn't the same Zeke, with all due respect. But what I'm saying is to answer the question,
they had like 6 first-round picks on their line, man.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, Bobby.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they were like, oh, whatever, we're getting, but that's Jerry, right? That's Jerry. Jerry's like, whatever.
How many playoff games did they win with that line?
Yeah.
Right. Now that's another point.
It's like, I don't know, all this stuff. Like you're gonna upgrade one area and it's gonna sacrifice or compromise another area. And you just have to find that balance, and the Cowboys have struggled there.
My thing, another thing that that I was talking about is, say you draft a quarterback in the 3rd round, right? And Dalton gets hurt. Is Foles still on the team at this point, right, in the season? Is that quarterback do you draft a quarterback in the 2nd and 3rd round and then he's a camp champ and he's a practice squad guy? Because if you still have Dalton and Foles, are you dressing 3 quarterbacks today? So are you drafting a guy in the 3rd round and he's on the practice squad? Or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, how are you?
I think if you draft a 3rd round quarterback, Foles is going to be dealt. They'll take whatever they can get.
Yeah, but Foles has to approve that. Foles has to approve being dealt.
He has a no trade clause.
Yes.
Well,
I thought so.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you, let's say we draft a quarterback in the 2nd or 3rd round.
2nd round, obviously. He's dressing. Right?
He's got to be rostered. Yeah.
3rd round and after, I don't know. I'm not sure.
What are the rules around putting somebody on your practice squad and then other teams being able to make an offer to bring up? Because isn't there that period where like basically the whole NFL can sign guys that are being?
There's a 20. I don't know if it's 24.
24 hours. I think.
Even if you have somebody on your practice squad, though, anybody can come up and try to snatch him.
Yeah, so I feel like if you're drafting 2nd round or 3rd round, it's a guy that you want for the future. And so you have to figure out what you're doing. Foles, deal him. You can't cut him, right? Doesn't he have a lot of dead money?
Yeah, and I know Foles has got I'm pretty certain he's still got a no trade clause. I'd have to look at it. If you're in the chat and enlighten us, but I'm pretty positive that he's got a no trade clause in there. He does have he had an opt out bonus of whatever if certain things happened that he could opt out. But
I really wanted him back.
Yeah, I mean, and that's possible too. But I'm just saying, like right now, for the conversation's sake and for where we're at right now, what happens? Like,
I mean,
what happens if we take a quarterback in the third round? I don't know what the hell would happen. Like, so now let's say that does happen. Let's say we take a quarterback in the third round, right? And now you got Dalton, Foles, and your new quarterback. Foles goes away. Now you got Dalton, then your third rounder. Anything happens to Dalton, and the pressure is on this kid to be the guy. Your third rounder is going to get so fucking berated and beat down from every Sunday that he might as well pull a Mitch and shut the TVs off and get off of social media and go zero dark because it's a bunch of assholes. Like, people are going to go after
Not this city. Not this city.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I just wanted to throw it out there to see, like, your guys' thoughts on it and to kind of throw this out as a topic because I don't know what happens.
Yeah, I don't either, man. I mean, I think that you have to draft a quarterback.
Exactly.
Right. So I suppose it's just going to be something we're going to have to learn and see what happens, or keep Dalton as safe as possible. And maybe that's why it's so important that we take tackles high.
Yeah.
And we've got guys that can keep the pocket clean for him. But it's a great question. I don't have the answer.
We protected Bray a lot. Maybe we could protect
one of these guys. If you're Nick Foles and you see Dalton starting, drafted a quarterback high, would you want to stay here and sit on the bench? Or would you want the competitor in you's got to want to go somewhere to where you know you're going to play?
Agreed. But money talks.
How much is he making for you?
I thought he made like $7.5 million this year. I thought his contract went like way down, like 7.5 million or something like that.
I can pull it up.
Philly loves the guy. They're about to build a statue for him, right?
Yeah.
100%. But they did sign Flacco this offseason, so maybe they're like, we already got our old white quarterback. We don't need another one.
So funny. Yeah, funny.
Let's see here. So this is what we currently got for old Nicky. Base salary $4 million, signing bonus 2.6, cap hit 6.6. Wow, he's a 6.6. That's his whole. That's his whole deal for.
Made his deal with the devil.
Yeah, that's the deal for next year. His cap hit next year is all sixes. But
is that fully guaranteed? Is that all fully guaranteed?
Dead cap is $10.3 million.
See, that would hurt. There's no point to cut him.
So they're definitely not going to cut him, right? He's got a potential out next year. And I mean, I'm not going to, I know there's a lot more in here, but I don't know about the trade clause. That's something that I would want to look at. But I think if you draft, then yeah, of course he accepts a trade somewhere else. Now the problem is there's a lot of money that needs to go along with that and go with him. And there's somebody taking him as a trade backup with that cash stack, in post June or whatever we can look into. Maybe that's a topic for after the draft and we see, because like we said, it might be nonsense. We might not even need to talk about it. Bears might come out and draft a bunch of people and who knows? Yeah, also true. Quarterbacks get hurt in the preseason. Foles might be a good piece to move after that, right? I just don't know. I just don't know how it falls out, how any of that falls out, because we've kind of broken out the checkbook these last 2 years, right? And we bring in Foles and we're like, okay. And then we give him this no trade deal, whatever. And then we bring in Dalton this year, which already should have smacked Foles in the face. Like at this point, if Foles was that competitor and was that guy that we were just saying, he should have been like, yo, I want to trade. Like, what are you doing to me?
What out of Chicago? God.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. I think that's the case, and it's going to be interesting on all the other dominoes that fall on draft day. if they go out and do this, or if they say they do take a tackle and they get a quarterback in the third, what happens with all this stuff then? So I mean, that's just kind of where we're at with it, man. And we'll see who we get and how long everything can go. All right, what else we got, guys? You guys got anything else you want to touch on or hit up?
Just one last thing. If we're talking about quarterbacks real quick, there's no way I was going to let this slide, but shout out to my man, Mr. Trubisky. You know what I'm saying? AC.
Let's go, Buffalo.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, yo, I'm riding with Mitch. I don't want Allen to get hurt, but if Mr. Trubisky's in the playoff game, I'm rooting for that guy. I wish him nothing but the best. And I'm actually happy he's been set free. I'm actually happy he gets set free.
It's
he
a
gets
good
to go
spot
somewhere.
for him too.
Yeah. And
Because you look at how they use Josh Allen, using his athleticism, getting him on the outside. That's how we wanted Mitch to be used. And Nagy was like, "No, we're gonna just have him drop back and throw."
again and again and again.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, let's wrap this thing up. We'll kick it around. We'll go around.
Hold on. Somebody said something here in the chat, the Jim McMahon thing.
Oh,
Now we had Fat Mike
was from
used to
Fat
be
Mike, yeah.
on the bar room. Shout out to Fat Mike for he's booking some killer guests. And Jim McMahon said that the Packers are the best organization he ever played for, and Chicago is where quarterbacks go to die. And I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't touch on this as Bears fans. So now we have where quarterbacks go to die and where wide receivers go to die. But I'm guessing where running backs and linebackers come to live. So, I mean, Jim McMahon, to me, he gets a lot of love because he went to the Super Bowl on the back of the best defense in history. And so he gets a lot of love for that. But and I know Dan Aguirre loves the guy. I think it's like his favorite player. But he was good, but never great. If you're asking me the best Bears quarterback in history, it's Cutler. And a lot of people might hate that because he was such a polarizing figure. But say with your chest, Jim McMahon. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. Time out. So those two comments he made on that podcast were separate. They weren't back to back. They weren't together. And do you disagree? Like, do you think that the Bears organization is amazing? Like, no. We talk shit about them all the time.
That's why we have a show.
At the time, exactly. At the time, I mean, when Jim McMahon was in Green Bay, they're a well-run organization. Let's not forget, though, when the Packers won the Super Bowl and he went to the White House after that Super Bowl, remember what he was wearing?
His Bears
jersey, right? So I don't think it was it was meant as a diss to the Bears. I think he was just legitimately impressed with the organization when he was there. And we all can agree that quarterbacks tend to not do too well in Chicago. So
yeah, and I mean on the flip side of so this is how I took it, right? The flip side of the whole Green Bay is the best organization or whatever. You got to look at how he was as a player and attitude when he was in Green Bay and how he was as a player when he was in Chicago, right? In Chicago, he was the punky QB. Like, he's pissing off GMs, he's pissing off owners, he's going against the grain on everything, and he's the punky, like, he's pissing everybody off. He's putting his hand out, everybody's slapping it. You know what I mean? Because he's just constantly misbehaving, right? And he's being ridiculed and he's being reprimanded and this and that. And when you have that in an organization, and then you have Walter Payton, Mike Singletary, Richard Dent, you have all these other people in that organization that the organization is probably hooking up. I mean, we've seen Payton's family still continue on with the Bears organization. So we can't say that the organization was bad, right? I mean, I think Jim was just a punk ass kid at that time. And the organization's like, yo, like, hey dude, look, come here. It's punishment. Like, go sit on timeout, Jim. And we'll see you in a while. Like, Walter, sending the room service over, chill. You know what I mean? Like, and I just think that once he progressed and moved on with his career and whatever, he was older, wiser, wasn't so much of a, like crazy ass kid anymore, that he understood organizations and how they ran and respected what was going on in Green Bay. And he wasn't doing dumb shit, so nobody had to reprimand him all the time. And I think like kids, right? Like take little ass kids. Some of your kids will be more mad at dad when they discipline them than they will, but they're not mad at mom when she lets them like get away with that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just a childhood attitude or a childlike attitude at the time. And he got reprimanded more in Chicago and he liked Green Bay better afterwards. So it probably took a lot longer to say that than it should
have. Jimmy, I got a lot of respect for Jimmy McMahon. He was tough. He was half blind.
Yeah.
And he gave us our only Super Bowl. And sometimes when these streams come out, we never know how the reporters chop things up. Mike, I'm so glad you said that, how they answered things. Those weren't back to back. You're right. They will just add things. They want sales. They want sales. They want clicks. That's all they want. Mm-hmm. And so I know he wouldn't purposely disrespect the team that he won a Super Bowl for. But that being said, I'm somewhat glad he said it because it's not a diss on the quarterbacks. It's a diss on the organization that puts the leaders or lack thereof in place to develop quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Because if you follow Andy Reid, you're going to develop quarterbacks. You see what I'm saying? He's right. And I'm glad that he kind of said it, not to die, but like who's going to Trey Lance, Mac Jones, who's going to develop him here? Who is going to develop him? These are the questions. That's why I'm like, man, do I want these guys to come to Chicago? Are we going to get these minds, these guys in the development rounds, and they come in, we're going to toss them in there, and because they don't produce the numbers on the field, their careers are now scarred. And that's how the NFL works as a business. You know what I'm saying? Mitch Trubisky is going to have to live with all of this stuff for the rest of his career because of what the lack of leadership did for his career.
Yeah, but on the flip side, if Trubisky goes up here to Buffalo, right, and maybe something happens or whatever, if he shows out, it's going to be how bad the organization is, right, and not how bad Mitch is. The problem is that, so there's a lot of that stuff that I just put off, right? I'm like, well, whatever, let's give the kid a shot next week. Let's see. And I think from like coaching perspectives, right, and no matter what level, right, high school, whatever, we've all had kids or we've seen kids that like they'll shit the bed one game, right? And they're just bad. But then this kid does the little things, does this, does that, and you know that he has it, and you're just trying to dig it out of him and get it, right? I think there comes a time where Nagy was like, hey, I'm just not gonna get it. I can't do anything more with Mitch, right? Maybe that's Nagy's fault. Maybe it's Mitch's fault. Who knows? Hopefully he goes and does great in Buffalo. The problem is he will always be considered a bust by Chicago fans no matter what. And even if he does good now, then he's more of an asshole than he was when he was here and not doing good. You know what I mean?
I mean, which in my opinion would show, I don't want to say lack of imagination because Nagy had he was kind of unorthodox. But for me, it's a diss on Nagy more than it is on Mitch because he's in there with Buffalo. That organization is on an uptick. They've changed coaches. They've changed ownership. I believe one of the first female owners, if I'm not mistaken, for the NFL. For NFL.
Yeah,
they are on the uptick. That is Sean McDermott, if I'm not correct, from the Carolina Panthers over there. Diggs, they're moving on in a big way. They just didn't have the firepower to keep up with. If they didn't play Kansas City, the Buffalo Bills would have been back in the Super Bowl. And they saw value in Mitch. And Mitch turned down some other offers. Yeah. And so that kind of says something because I think Mitch has intangibles that weren't fully produced yet. And I just kind of was like his athleticism. And so, but that being said, we got to roll what we got. We're in Chicago. We're win, lose, or draw. Matt Nagy hasn't developed a quarterback yet, guys. He was with Patrick Mahomes his entire first year. And that's the one thing that I was basing everything, my fan, because Patrick Mahomes, his rookie year in the NFL, he was with Matt Nagy. Just learning. But maybe that's more Andy Reid now. Maybe that's more Andy Reid. And so I don't know, Bobby. I don't know.
I agree. I think so Mahomes played one game his rookie year, right? I think he played one game his rookie year.
Yeah, the final week.
And we all know that Andy Reid was the offensive coordinator. Right, he's the head coach, but he was also calling the plays. Nagy called plays, I think 3 games at the end of the season or something like that. So you're right. Nagy was the one that was in there working with him and doing it. Like he was spending the majority of his time prepping them and whatever. I think he has it, man. Right. Just because you're a good chef doesn't mean you're going to be a good restaurant owner. You know what I'm saying? Like just because you're good at this or that doesn't mean that you have it, that you can put it all together when it matters. Right. Like, and I think that's where the issue is with Nagy. And I still believe he's a good, I think the players respect him, man. I do. I still believe that, but I don't think that he's a good offensive coordinator. And I haven't for a while. I think he doesn't build anything on top of anything, right? There is no progression of style. There's no progression of player. There's no progression. Like some of the plays that they get that are big plays are the Madden style, throw the bomb, let's see if they catch it, or a broken ass play that just happens, man. Like we don't see methodical punch in the mouth, build, like Montgomery. Ooh, play action to Montgomery and deep, like, you know what I mean? We don't see that stuff.
Bobby, that's such a great point. And the offensive coordinators that do that are married to that position. But in today's day, we are in an information age, instant gratification. So every time a great OC or DC has an amazing something year, they should be the next head coach. They should be the head coach. Head coach. And then now with your craft, you were proficient at something, but now you've been spread thin. Now you're a leader of men. And you can't be creative into that one thing that you were a science thing about. You give that 20% of your energy now.
Yeah, and you lose your direction. I think you lose your direction. You kind of get put into what you should be, and you're trying to chase what you should be or what they want you to be instead of being just what you are and what got you there. Like, you don't have to get stupid, right? Like, hire an offensive coordinator. Be like, look, man, guess I only call plays 3 times, but I'm a head coach now. Like, this is my game plan. This is what I would like to put together. And I thought that your style married up well with what I do. So I'd like for us to build something collectively and go from there. Right. And see what happens. But to say I'm calling the plays, that you ain't proven, dog. You're not proven. You haven't done it. And I mean, granted, they put up some yards and whatever, right? But there's so many questionable marks in there that I feel it's just, I don't know, man. I think we're all beating the same dead horse at this point and kind of going over and
think
over.
To hire a head coach, I think you have to look at your top coordinators, because if they're a good head coach, they're not leaving their job where they're at. So what? Are you going to retread someone who's failed somewhere else, or are you going to grab a Todd Bowles type player, type coach that built this really good defense in Tampa? Now, he had one shot at head coach before, but that was with the New York Jets. So that's like saying you were a head coach for the Browns before and failed, because everyone fails there. I would love to see Todd Bowles get another shot at his head coach. And just like you said, Bobby, grabbing another coordinator. Okay, I'm a defensive coordinator at heart, so I need an offensive coordinator that knows what the fuck he's doing. And my defensive coordinator under me is probably going to be your top defensive position player, like a linebackers coach or something. That's probably going to be your defensive coordinator, and you guys can build that defense, and then he learns from you, and everyone learns. It's a collaborative effort.
I think the two most important criteria when you're selecting a head coach is probably has a track record of leading a large group of people and has a track record of success. Put those two things together, and if you're not already a head coach, you have to be a coordinator, right? And probably one that was successful recently. So I don't think it's rocket science that's what happens, but you guys are spot on with the point that, like, sometimes that crushes something that was good. Like, you ruined something that was good. Bobby, you said earlier, sometimes you try to be everything to everyone, and it dilutes down certain things that you're good at or certain areas. And that's what you see, I think, happening with a lot of defensive coordinators that kill it and then just don't have that same success at the head coach level. Tyler, you talk about being a leader of men. There's just so many intangibles that are involved that like I don't think you're always thinking of, or there's no proof. If this guy's never been a head coach before, there's no proof that he'll be successful at those intangibles. You take some chances, and sometimes they'll work out. You just hope that your team pulls the plug when it's time to pull the plug. Like I might need to stop talking right now, but I'm just going to keep going. And
I do it all the time.
The Bears, they'll just keep going with Matt Nagy, but you have to have somebody that's smart enough to know when it's time to move on.
And when it's time to pull the plug on themselves, though, right? Like Nagy at this point should have been like
he's got too much pride,
self-evaluation, man. Like, hey, how have we done? And measure that stuff out, right? Maybe he has like a chart or like, hey, at the end of this year, I want to accomplish this, and this. Reasonable goals, right? Not like Bear fan goals, like we need to be in the fucking Super Bowl, right? Reasonable goals. And maybe he's meeting those marks. I don't know. I'm just saying, man, I think a lot of it though is self-awareness too, to come back and say, like, obviously, do you guys think, I mean, I know we said we were going to do shout outs, but before we wrap this thing up, do you guys think Nagy handed Laser coaching the offensive for those games, or do you think
someone in the front office told him you're done calling plays? Okay.
And what about Mike? You don't think so? You think that somebody told him to?
I think he's got too much pride. I think self-awareness' biggest enemy is pride, right? And Matt Nagy strikes me as a guy that's just he's a stubborn, prideful dude. I don't think that was his call.
I feel like this Andy Reid coaching tree, everyone hires from it and it doesn't work out. It's what I've seen so far.
It's hard to say, Bobby, because he has play calling duties back. He's taking it back over for this coming year. And so it's like, I don't know. I don't want to say lame duck, but I'm like, hey, bro, if he's going out, he's like, okay, if this is my year, then give it all to me, and this is it. And so this is it. Yeah. And so like, I don't know.
Maybe
he's going out
you're
guns
right.
Blazing.
Yeah, and I mean, can you realize the part that bothers me, man? Can you be like, hey, listen, front office, this might be my last year, but if it is, I'm gonna call the plays. You know what I'm saying? And then be like, yeah, cool, Matt. like Jesus, I don't know, man. Like, who knows if this works like that? But
hey, you got to remember, Mike Tyson's offensive play call was, "Hey, throw the ball to Brandon Marshall." That was a play call.
Yeah, I mean that went on for a long time up in Minnesota with Randy Moss. Like, hey, Dante, we know you can't hit a slant, and you know, and we understand that part, but this is what we want you to do. Catch the ball and throw it as far as you can. Randy, get under that thing, you know, and like you've seen it. I mean, that shit went on for years, man, but who knows, man? It's quite possible. All right, any shout outs that we got, let's kick this thing around the room. Let's start it off with the guest of honor. Let's start this thing off with Mr. Tyler Ellis, the badge of honor, guest of honor. Gaines, go ahead, brother. What you got?
I mean, brother, Barfly Tailgate show is so dope to be back with you guys, man. This is so awesome. You guys are rocking. I know the Bears Nation, we're excited to hear from you guys all season. I'm going to speak this into existence right now. The Barfly Tailgate show, if anybody wants to join me, let's go to Vegas. The Bears are playing in Oakland and playing in LA this year, right? I'm going. So if anybody's down, like, hey, yo, why not?
We're playing in Vegas.
Yo, I'm down.
I'll see you there.
So, I've never been to Vegas before, but like, hey, yo, the Bears give me an excuse. So I'm gonna speak that into existence real quick. But I'm so grateful for the badge of honor. So grateful for the everybody that's tuning in. Thank you for joining my awesome brothers. These guys are awesome. Thank you for taking your time out to join us. 4,000 Clovers, Ravi, all you guys are just give us your time. And so that's truly, truly dope. Mabasa, Kenny Relief Initiative, all praise to you know who. And then I'm going to shout out all the shows on the network and see Red Radio. This is Dope Talking Bears because, as you guys know, I've been full Chicago Bulls mode right now. Yeah. And so check us out Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me and my two brothers, Jordan and Josh Ellis, we're talking Bulls. We're talking passion. We're talking Derrick Rose. We're talking Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time. And so Check us out on.
Hey, talking Patrick Williams being a bum, because that dude needs to step his game up. I'll tell you that.
He had 12 points last night.
Hey, yes, all of that and more. And Bobby, actually make yourself available. Keep yourself available, Bobby. I'm glad you brought that up.
We need Daniel Dice. Dice needs to take over for Williams. Williams needs to come off the bench, and we need to do this thing. But you know what?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you win right now. That's why they protected everything. That's why all your picks were protected. So the Bulls are about to smarten up. But sorry for cutting you off.
But no. Okay. Bobby, we're going to have you on this sooner or later. But wrapping up the shout-outs, thank you for Badge, Mike, AEC, KB. I just appreciate you guys so much. Everything you guys do for the network. Everything that you guys are doing for the network, your creativity. First of all your videos for your mock grasses were dope. That was all.
That was all. Although all we did was send them names.
Yeah,
I was like, AC really stepping it up. This is awesome.
No, I'm just a personality. I mean, it's just my show. You know, I appreciate you coming on, brother.
Yeah, it's just AC. It's AC and a couple other guys. That's the name of the show now.
But besides that, that's truly all I got. Outside of that, XS Nation, we about these games heading to the gym later. Take care.
All right, brother. Appreciate you. All right, next, Mr. Eric Current AC in the place to be, the Kentucky kid. This is his show, and we're just fucking here. What do you got, man?
First and foremost, shout out to Mike Schaefer getting the swag shop going. As you can see, we rocking the same T-shirt today, Mike. I got the hat, man. Everything feels great. Great price, man. If y'all haven't been on there yet, it's deepdishtees.com/barroom. Correct, Mike? And that'll get you straight to all the ballroom swag. And I love the stuff. I've already spent probably more than I should, but my wife's all right with it. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Just like Gaines said, Ravi 4000 Closers, JMNA, Angel in there. Man, the chat room was nuts this morning. Going back and forth and everybody having their ideas, and I love talking draft. Like I told you guys, it feels like Christmas to me, and I'm sure you guys can tell by my passion, when I'm talking about certain prospects that I like. So shout out to and just like Ellis said, you know, he can't take credit because he just gives God the glory. Shout out to the guys that I listen to. You got Draft on Tap. You've got, everywhere you look, you've got people that have different things to say about draft prospects. And make sure you do your homework. Unless you like Bobby and you just do your homework after we grab our guy, then go back and look and see what people had to say about him. But I like to be informed about who he could possibly go after. And that's just my opinion. And shout out to everybody on here.
I don't look at Playboys or nothing either. You know what I'm saying?
Just read the articles.
And don't forget, Greg Gabriel is back. Don't miss it.
Speaking
11
of
a.m.
scouts.
Monday. Yeah.
Speaking of scouts.
I mean, I can't wait. I do enjoy the draft, right? I enjoy the draft itself and all that. I just don't, like Casey said, I don't really look into anybody past like maybe 10 picks. You know, granted, normally everybody in the first round, I know who they are or I know what school they're from or where they played, right? Getting into like after that, some of them I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? Right? Like, whatever. And
some
whatever.
of Pace's draft picks, I'm always like that. Adam Shaheen, I hadn't looked at him for a second.
Yeah, and then like outside of like Illinois, Notre Dame, right? And some of the teams that they play, then I'm like, if it's coming from a dude that he's from a school that they haven't played them, I'm like, yo, absolutely no idea. Right? Like, who's this guy? But whatever. That's just me, man. That's where it's at. Over to
E.A. Booneway went to Western Kentucky, and I didn't know who he was.
Well, you want to know something crazy is E.A. Booneway's father is a professor out in San Diego State University, and I knew him before we drafted Joel. So either way, mind blown. But hey, and that's how it goes. Over to Mr. Mike Schaefer for shout outs. What you got, man?
I'm with you, Bobby. Yeah, don't listen to me. Listen to Greg. Listen to Danny. Listen to Neil. They've got a show, I think, coming up again this week. They've had some really good guests. So if you have not listened to the last couple of episodes, go back, play that. It's really good stuff. But shout out to Tyler for everything that you do, for being a great example. And then obviously for coming on and spending valuable time with us to talk Bears, to talk draft. I will do everything in my power to be in Vegas with you for Bears Raiders, and maybe more if you're going back overseas. I think that's something that maybe some of us could get together with you on. What else? deepdishtees.com/barroom. Go there. There's really cool stuff. And if you go to deepdishtees.com, you could click on the barroom link at the top of the page. So it's like the easiest thing to find. If you can't find it, just reach out to me. Do whatever. I'll get you there. But there's some really cool stuff. We're adding swag for the Blackhawks show that the Parisi brothers do. There's just some really cool stuff coming, and we're going to continue to build as the year progresses. So check that out. Last but never least, shout out to my wife. She is not watching right now because she's completing her residency for a doctorate, of which she's been working her ass off for the last couple of years. She's got one more year left, but she the residency is all remote, so she has our house is basically a school right now. I'm only allowed to be in certain parts of it, and there was no way I was going to risk taking up too much bandwidth from the at-home internet. So I'm at work right now. I'm in the office. But shout out to her for everything that she does. And obviously everybody in the chat today, thanks for coming out. Anybody that listens to this, shout out to you guys because you make this possible.
Absolutely, man. And congrats to her and everything, and everybody, like everybody joining us, everybody in the chat, Gaines, KB, Badge, AC, Mike, like, we took a little break. We were off for a little while just to kind of, retool some stuff and kind of kick back for a minute and do our thing. But, the excitement, it picks back up, man. And it gets, I feel like sometimes in the off season, we kind of, are like the same thing over and over. And we're like, and whatever. Sometimes either way, it's just good to be back today, man. And thank you for everybody who's joining us. Shout out to Mr. Aldo Gandia. Appreciate you, man. I think Aldo's a little mad at me from my Twitter sabbatical and whatever. I'm not being anywhere, but hey, either way, I'm sure he'll get over it because he loves me like a fucking, little stepchild. Either way, man, everybody who joined us, we appreciate it. We got a lot of draft stuff coming up. The draft show will be coming, and the Draft on Tap guys are going to take you through with that thing. And we'll be on I think the day after the draft was the plan. Either way, we'll set out a whole schedule. Check out everything going on, though. I mean, these Bulls shows, Bulls are exciting again. Like, no matter what, the Bulls are exciting again. It was a time, right? There was a time where we were kind of like, but I'm actually excited for all of basketball again. Magically, I guess money will do that. But either way, White Sox, they taking a couple lumps. Cubs are back. Like, things are picking
Cubs
back
are
up.
Not
again,
back.
Well,
We can't
they were
hit a damn
yesterday.
ball. Well, yesterday we did great, but
but I'm just saying, like, everybody's
hit a
on
ball.
right now. This is like one of the better parts of the season where you got football stuff going on and every sport is going on. If you're a sports fan, like to get something on. Otherwise, we appreciate everybody joining us. I don't think I forgot anything. Nope. I'll talk to these guys about that afterwards. But either way, appreciate you guys joining us. Let's end this thing with a big old bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down. Man.
Ooh-hoo.
Oh man.
Absolutely. That's awesome.